Hello, hello, welcome everyone. You have our host today, me, Giovanni Rodriguez, and Filip, the owner of Mayo Agency, and me, the general manager out of the USA. Great to have you all here on another episode of the Mayo Agency podcast. Today, we're going to be talking about investing, right? I think this is going to be a lot of people interested, right? I know there's a lot of people now interested in where should I invest? Yeah, but that's not going to really be the topic. We're going to be talking more about a different side of investing, not necessarily financial in terms of where you should invest, but the how you're investing. Because Filip and I were speaking, and Filip brought up a great point of how people and Filip wrote about this in on a post right in LinkedIn, which was sort of the inspiration of this episode today. And yeah, he was talking about how a lot of people think that just focusing on the financial side or capital is the only way you can invest. But there's actually other creative ways you can look to and get into different opportunities based on a lot of different factors that is not just monetary or not just about capital or money. So yeah, why don't you start it off, Filip? I think that's a good introduction for the topic today, and we could get it rolling.
Absolutely. Rocking as always. Thank you, Gio. Yeah, as you mentioned, the point is the default paradigm approach and perception is who is the investor? Investor is some guy, some lady who has a shit pile of money and they're investing in some business opportunities. They get some shares. They get return on investment through the time, etc., etc. The point is, money is not the only resource. Quite often, the money is a subproduct of your experience, expertise, knowledge, and devotion. So, what actually you have? You have your time, you have your skill, you have your knowledge. Those are also elements for being an investor. So, in entering business cooperation, entering partnership, you can be one of investors who is not necessarily pouring into the project money only. You can give experience, knowledge, expertise, relevant connections, your social circle, utilize it, etc. So that is very important to kind of slightly switch the paradigm because what is very rigid, and you can see that both on social media, in tons of books. You need to start as a business owner for the time after several number of years or 20 years, 30 years, whatever. You are switching to the investors a life cycle, and then you kind of push back in terms of being operatively active in your company. Then you have the asset, the meaning of money, so you can invest in other projects. It's a mistake. If you have the knowledge, you can invest immediately, no matter how experienced in business you truly are. And also, that is an amazing realm and namespace for passionate professionals who are extremely strong in the business building phase. So they can give the best from themselves and pour into the skill set, the knowledge, experience, expertise in the respectable project they're passionate about. And that is the concept and idea. Because as mentioned, the strict and rigid structure is entire process. So you cannot be an investor before you don't have a money. You can be investor practically immediately if you have the knowledge. You have a specialty in some respectable field. That is immediately the namespace opportunity to partner up with the right people and be one of several investors. And that is my two cents on that. But generally, what is kind of also for your entrepreneurship, your experience and career, generally the experience with that? Tell me also
Yeah,
your thoughts on that.
yeah, I agree with you, Filip. I know a lot of times people sort of see like the obvious route is like, oh, you sort of have to, put some type of financial. There has to be some type of financial aspect always when you're investing. But like you said, I don't think that's always the case. I think just like everything, it's a matter of the situation. It's a matter of what's needed within that initial opportunity, right? Because if the person maybe has capital, because this is the type of opportunity that I think like that you're talking about, that's the ideal situation for somebody like that wants to invest, like you said, with the skill set, for example, is the person maybe is starting up a business for the first time. They were in corporate maybe their whole career, their whole life, but then finally, they retired, they had a great career, and now they're looking to stay active and they want to open a business. They want to open a practice, but they don't have that initial business experience, right? Because they were in corporate the majority of their life. So they have the money, but they may not have the knowledge and skill sets required to get it going correctly. And that's where somebody could come in, not with the financial aspect, because that's not what they need, right? Then you come in with the right resources, which is your skill set, maybe in that case. So I think it's a matter of perspective and and how you can align yourself with different opportunities, right? I think instead of just focusing on the financial aspect, we can start to seek out um, to make the most of our resources, right? To make the most of combining not only our money, but also combine our skill set, our knowledge, and our time,
Yeah.
and put a value to that, and then see where the best opportunities are. And why is that important to sort of take into consideration? Um, all of your resources, all of what you have to offer, because just like in almost anything in business, you talk about returns and risk, right? And when you take that type of approach, like what Philip and I are speaking about today, that enables you to maximize your returns, right? And then it minimizes your risk, because what you're doing is you're not just focusing on just the financial aspect, but also you may be able to put in some time. You may be able to add on with your skill set, and that helps you diversify, right? Because maybe one opportunity you just put in money, and you don't, right? That opportunity doesn't require your skill set or doesn't require your time. But maybe there's another opportunity that you see that is great, and that doesn't require money. But then there you can actually, right? You can actually put in your resources of time or skill set, etc. So I think it helps minimize your risk as well when you think about it that way as well. And I think the skill set, you talked about skill set, Philip, and I think your skill set, our skill set, is probably one of the most valuable assets in the world, right? And in the world of investing, I think even more, even the same, because basically what is happening is you're taking your unique abilities and your experience, right? Everything that you possess, that's through your career, through your time in business, all those that unique knowledge and the ability that you built out during those different phases, and that experience. Well, now you're using that to then input that into a portfolio, into an investment portfolio, right? So a good example would be, let's just say you're a skilled software developer, right?
Mm-hmm.
In that case, you might invest in a startup, right? A tech startup that you see a lot of potential on the type of product they want to bring to the market. You see that there's a very good product market fit that has a lot of potential. And what can you do in that case? You can leverage your expertise, right? To identify the best opportunities and then provide the value to the company that you want to invest in, right? So that skilled software developer may end up taking a percentage, right? A percentage of the company, of that startup, and then they just basically invest their skill set and their time for a bigger return as the company grows, right? And then that's equity, and equity is very powerful as well, even more powerful than actually the monetary gain you can get from it short term. So
Yeah.
see, there's a lot of different ways you could think of it, and yeah, it's just a matter of being creative, analyzing, like I said before. I think the resources that we have available, that sometimes we just think it's about money, but you have a lot of resources available that you can provide value through those resources in a lot of different ways.
Yeah, exactly. And you gave the great example, especially in the software development. What you can see very often, majority of great software solutions, software as a service tools, etc., practically were created through the cooperation between great software company, development company, and professionals and experts in some respectable field, HR, some automation, financing, etc. Combined effort, you create an amazing stuff. So the point is, and take is here, not to see only the opportunity of investing through the monetary window, meaning money, pouring money into the project, but your respectable knowledge, skill set, experience, and expertise, because that is your asset, which nobody can take from you, and you can put it according to what you said. You can balance the combination between investments. Somewhere you pour into the money, somewhere your knowledge, skill set, etc., etc. So
Exactly.
there are so many devilish combinations, and you have full control in that. Also, as you mentioned, a good point there, mitigating the risk overall, long term, as much as possible, especially if you have a respectable experience in the field in which you are creating some new solution and you want to deploy it on the overall market.
Yeah, I like that. I think another one, some people think about like investing in terms of only like investing in someone else, but I think there's another good point about investing in yourself.
Yeah.
So then you can invest in another opportunity as well. So I think we shouldn't forget about that as well, because everything starts with us, right? The opportunities, the challenges, everything starts and ends with ourselves, right? So I think that's important to take into consideration as well. Time, like some people think, oh, you're talking about putting time into a company, and yeah, that could be it. But also, I think when we talk about investing time, for example, you could think about it as like when you're contributing to the growth of your investments by researching, right? By investing in knowledge, by networking. That stuff people don't really consider, but that's time that you're putting into that, right? You have to take out time to go to a conference or go to a meetup and network with people, talk with them, really build a relationship. That takes time. And that time, you can see it as an investment as well, that in the long term, if you do it correctly, that time invested actually starts to bear fruits. But you have to put in the time, right? What else? You got managing your portfolio. That takes time, right? If you have various different types of investments, or you maybe on one investment you invested money, but then in another one you invested your skill set. There's time that goes into, right, managing all of that. So another thing could be setting time aside each week to read, right, to analyze what's happening in the markets, and then start to gain that knowledge and connections over time. I think that's something that some people sort of forget about, like investing in yourself, right? That's probably one of the most important investments as well, that we should not forget about. That as we're looking for other opportunities, you should always be looking for opportunities as well. And how am I managing the time, and how can I continue to invest in myself, so that way that opens me up to even more better investment opportunities in the future.
Absolutely. And also one thing before we conclude, I also want to mention, and you triggered that one in my head, and that is that money is only a tool. Okay, if you have some amount of resources, the money for the project, things will be happening quite easier. But money cannot take over the skill and knowledge, because you can have unlimited amount of money, but if people who are working don't know what they are doing, you'll be just wasting money without any kind of results. And that is very important. Treat it as a tool, and your knowledge, skills, and experience and expertise are true long-term assets. As you mentioned, investing in yourself is the best bet and the best investment you can actually create.
Exactly. Yeah, because that's where everything starts. It starts with you. So if you're not investing in yourself, then don't even think about like the other investment types, right? Like, it's like, first you got to get that. And then once you have that going and you understand, right, okay, these are my strengths, these are my weaknesses, you have sort of a system in place where you're continuously, like I talked about, you're reading up on the market, you're analyzing, you're putting the time in to really build yourself up so that you're ready for those opportunities. I think that's even more important than actually picking out different opportunities of investments. It's even more important is how you're investing in yourself, because based on that is the other results you're going to get from everything else, from all the other investments. It all starts with us, and I think that's very important as well. So yeah, I would say I think that was a great conversation. I think, like, to go over what we talked about, I think it's not all about money. It's not all about, okay, let me just throw money at this investment. Yeah, let me make it rain, and then things are just gonna start to happen. Well, sometimes you could get lucky and it does happen that way, but then a lot of times, there's a lot of trial and error. There's a lot of stuff that doesn't go as expected, that may take longer for you to get a return. Like we said, there's opportunity that may not be what that person is looking for. Maybe their main right, their main need, or what they're looking for, or what they need to make that investment better, is not money. Maybe they need a skill set. Maybe, right, they need your specific knowledge in a certain area that will help, and that's what they're looking for. And maybe you could strategically, or maybe they don't even know that they're looking for that. But that's why I'm telling you, it's good to invest in yourself, because they might not be looking at that. And then all of a sudden, since you've been investing in yourself, you understand that money is not the only thing you can invest. You could present that to them and be like, you know what? I understand you're looking to make this happen. And yes, there is always that financial aspect, but have you thought about this? Have you thought about, I believe I have a skill set that can be provided that's even more important, I think, and then you explain to that person, and then that could be an opportunity that person didn't even realize. So yeah, so I think you just have to keep your mind open, and like we were talking about, be creative, and understand that investing comes in a lot of different forms. It's not just about financial investing, but also your time, knowledge, expertise, etc. is also all resources you can use to leverage that and invest.
Yeah, absolutely. This was an awesome conversation, and thank you for today, Gio.
Oh, thank you, Philip. Thank you for everyone listening. Remember to, like the video if you did enjoy it and you learned something, and then also subscribe to the channel. And that's it. Have a great day, Philip. Thank you.
See you. Take care. Bye bye.
Bye bye.